What's going on YouTube? My name is Racer and welcome to my very first YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Mastiff. Because let's be honest, if you're not running a Mastiff right now, it seems like you get destroyed in every single fight your opponent has one. Like you can rock an R9 or even a Volt, some of the best guns in the game. But no matter what, if your opponent has that Mastiff, it feels like you're always at a huge disadvantage. And to be honest, it's because you are. Until they nerf the Mastiff, this gun is going to be the best gun to run for your close range encounters. It beats out any other close range weapon, so if you're not running it, especially in ranked, if you're not using this gun, you're really going to get left behind and you're going to be stuck in your gold to diamond lobbies. You're never going to hit masters, you're never going to hit predator, at least not this season, not until they nerf it. Until they nerf it, I hope you guys can use this guide to get better with it. That way you guys can go ahead and climb the ranks like I did. This was my very first season hitting pred. I've been playing since season 5, so I haven't been playing for too long, but this season is the only season I run the Mastiff every single game. Make sure you guys are running the Mastiff. If you're not, you're definitely gonna get left behind in the ranks. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Real quick guys, before I get into how to get better with the Mastiff and just different ways to improve with it, I first want to talk about why you should be running the Mastiff. That's gonna be the first part of this video. I can go ahead and leave a timestamp below if you guys want to skip ahead to the tips part, but first I just want to quickly cover why you should be running it. So the number one reason to be running the Mastiff is going to be your inventory space. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate right now. If you guys are rocking like a R301 on a Volt, or the R400, or a Hemlock on a Volt, or a Hemlock on an R9, anything like that where you have two fully automatic weapons. So if you're running anything like this, you're going to be really struggling to carry everything that you need. Right here you see I've got 240 of one type, 180 of the other, and I really don't have a lot of space. I've got 12 cells, which is the bare minimum. You definitely want to have at least 12 shield cells all the time, especially in ranked. Maybe not for pub stopping, but in ranked for sure. And then I've got 4 bats, which is a good amount of bats. That's a very healthy amount of shield bats. You can have 1 miscellaneous item, I like to call them, so I consider those like nades, maybe an ultimate accelerant if you're running someone like Gibby or Bloodhound, or maybe a mobile respawn if you're running like a crypto, or if you're running lifeline, you want to be that medic kind of character, you're going to carry mobile respawn. For someone like Horizon or Wraith, you're definitely going to want to have nades on you. But you see, if I'm running Horizon, I only have space for 1 nade with this specific setup here. If I go ahead and switch over to a Mastiff, you see I have an extra space now because I have to carry less ammo, and you could carry 1 to 2 stacks of shotgun ammo. Really, you should really only carry 1 stack of shotgun ammo because it's very easy to find. More often than not, the people that you kill and encounter are going to have a Mastiff on them, so they're probably going to be carrying some shotgun ammo. I usually carry 1 stack. Now you have an extra slot, so now you can carry extra stack of bats, for example. Let's say your teammate's not running a Mastiff, but you are, so they don't have enough space to carry the bats, but you do. So now you can carry 6 bats instead of 4, just in case you need to drop one for your teammate. So when you guys are playing ranked, a lot of the times you're going to get a third party in a fight. So you're going to have to end up disengaging often, especially on Kings Canyon in this area, just because there's so many third parties going on. If you start shooting at a team and taking some shots, you might have to heal up a little bit. You're wasting some ammo, you're wasting some heals, and then another team pulls up, you're gonna have to disengage. So that is loot that you guys did not get because you wasted your heals, right? Shooting at a team and then taking damage and having to heal up, and you wasted your ammo, but then you end up pulling out of the fight. So you're really not getting those resources from that fight because you never fought it. You never got any kills, you never got any knocks, so you never got to get to a box. So because that happens ranked so often, you want to have a gun that you don't need a lot of ammo for. That way you can carry more heals and more ammo for your primary weapon. With this kind of setup, you can have 240. 240 is a very healthy amount of ammo. I say anywhere from 240 to 300 is ideal. 360, you're really pushing it. You shouldn't carry that much. You can, drop a stack for an extra nade or more heals or whatever. But really, you guys want to have at least 240 to 300 ammo. 180 is like barely scratching the surface. It's okay. I really don't think it's enough, especially not for light weapons. But with the Mastiff especially, you can really open up your inventory and give yourself more space to work with. So that's going to be the number one reason, inventory space. Alright, so the second reason to run the Mastiff is to counter Gibraltar and his domes, because Gibraltar right now is extremely strong. If you don't have a Mastiff and you're going against a Gibby with one, you're probably going to lose that fight. But if you do have a Mastiff, now you actually have a fighting chance to bubble fight and compete, because without a Mastiff, if you got like an R9 or something, it's really no contest. Like this guy gets like no damage on me when he doesn't have a Mastiff. But you see, if he goes ahead and switches over to a Mastiff, you're gonna see he does a lot more damage to me. And I'm not the best Gibby. I can admit that. I could have definitely played this better and been able to, you know, kill them a lot easier. But the point is, with a Mastiff, you can actually compete against a Gibby, versus without, really don't have much of a chance in a bubble fight. So make sure you guys are running the Mastiff, that way you can counter Gibraltar and his bubbles. Alright guys, the third and final reason to be running the Mastiff is to dominate in door fights. If someone's breaking down your door while you're trying to heal or take a bat, and even if you're super low, if you can ADS with your Mastiff and land a really clean shot on them, the second they kick it open, you've pretty much won that fight, because after that, all you need is one more good shot and they're down. And then you can very quickly thirst. That's another reason to run the Mastiff, is how fast you can thirst someone and shield swap and get right back into the fight. Alright, so now that we're done with that section of the video, we're gonna go ahead and get into the tips on how to get better with the Mastiff. Alright, so my first tip on how to get better with the Mastiff is gonna be the ADS 99.99999% of the time. Okay, I'm not saying stay ADS the whole time you have your Mastiff out. I'm saying whenever you're about to shoot, make sure you're ADS first, just to tighten up your spread. You can see here how wide of a spread the Mastiff has, especially compared to other guns. If I switch over to an EVA 8 real quick, you'll see how much smaller it is. Actually, I think with the EVA 8, you don't get any additional benefits from ADSing, because you can hit for that 50s to, you know, high 60s range with the EVA 8, whether you're hip-firing or ADSing, regardless. But with the Mastiff, you see how much wider the spread is when you don't ADS, so your pellets are going to be hitting a lot less. So you definitely want to ADS most of the time. The only time you don't want to ADS is if you're within barrel stuff range. Like if someone's literally right in front of you and they're touching your gun, you definitely do want to ADS whenever you can, especially when you're running Gibby. If you're running Gibby, you're going to ADS the entire time. Even though you move a lot slower when you're ADS, if you're Gibby, you're such a huge target anyways, your movement speed isn't really going to be much of a factor. Your main strength with Gibby is that arm shield, so you want to stay ADS. That way, when it does come back after it gets shot out, you don't have to sit there and ADS and then wait for it to pop up again. You're already ADS, so it just pops up right away. So yeah, with the Mastiff though, stay ADS for 99.99% of shots, unless you're within barrel stuff range. Even within the 5 meter range, I would still ADS. I would say like 2 meters is really where you don't want to ADS, but within 5 meters, I know with other guns you don't want to aim in that close, but within 5 meters, I would still ADS with the Mastiff, just for a quick second, just to make sure you're hitting for as much as possible. Alright guys, so for my next Mastiff tip, we're going to be talking about body shots versus headshots. And with the Mastiff, this is one of the few guns, in fact, this might be the only gun you want to aim for the body instead of the head with, because the Mastiff has such a wide horizontal spread. If you aim at somebody at the head, because of how wide the spread is, more shots are going to be missing compared to when you aim at the body. So even though there's a headshot multiplier, which is really good, the body is still going to be what you want to aim for, just because of how many more shots hit on the body compared to the head, even with the multiplier. So you're going to see right here, I hit this Pathfinder for 80 to the head with the Mastiff, which isn't bad at all. But when I aim at the body from the same distance, I hit him for 98. The only time you want to aim for the head with the Mastiff is within barrel stuff range, because that's when you're going to hit for 128 versus hitting for a 104 in the body with the Mastiff. Alright, so my next tip actually plays into body shots versus headshots, and we're going to be talking about leg shots versus body shots. Now, I'm going to pull up 3 separate charts here. This first chart is going to be for the majority of legends. This is not for anyone with low profile or fortified. And you can see the leg and body shots are the same across the board. Looking at the damage here, it's the same. And it's actually the same thing for people with low profile. You'll see here, it's the same thing. So don't be afraid to shoot someone in the legs if they have height on you, or if they're on a horizon queue and they can only see their legs. Don't be afraid to shoot that. And same is actually for the fortified legends. It's the same exact principle, guys. The body shots and the leg shots do the same amount of damage. So if you're fighting a Gibby, especially in a bubble fight, and you know he's got that arm shield, so you can't really shoot his torso, but you're low on health, so you don't want to waste time shooting through his arm shield and then hitting him, you can just shoot his legs. Now it does change if you're farther away, because if you're farther away, your pellets will spread out more and some of them will go between their legs. For the most part, you're going to be doing the same amount of damage regardless, because you shouldn't be using the Mastiff too far away anyways. So shooting the legs and shooting the body will do the same amount of damage. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip here and show you guys that it's the same thing, so don't worry about it. You're going to see here I hit this dummy for 104 in the leg and in the body. So regardless, if you see someone's legs, you can shoot the legs, because you would do the same amount of damage unless you're at a pretty decent distance. Alrighty guys, so for my next tip, you guys are actually going to have to spend some time in the firing range working on this. Only, 5 to 10 minutes a day before you go into ranked or whatever. is going to be practicing your hipfire tracking essentially and your hipfire flicks. You do want to practice your flicks in the firing range on console because you're going to be aiming with a stick instead of with a mouse, so it's a lot harder for us console players. Even those of us that play on controller on PC, flicking is not as easy as it is on a mouse, so you do want to come in here and practice this. So I have this little routine that I do every now and then before I go into some ranked with the Mastiff. I just go along these dummies, go about 5 meters away from them, and then practice hip firing and try to hit for the biggest numbers possible. You really want to shoot and get your timing down when you get your reticle right in the middle of them. So you can see here, I've gotten pretty good at it. I've done this for a good amount of time. I've been using the Mastiff a lot this season. So you see here, I'm hitting for 104s and things like that. That's just because I've been practicing a lot. Hip firing 5 meters away is really ideal for like most other weapons, but like I said earlier, you don't want to do this with the Mastiff too much, but sometimes you have to if someone like I said pops up and scares you, or if someone has really good movement and is moving very quickly and your ADS speed is lower, you are going to have to hip fire flick them. So this is a good way to practice that. Just go back and forth just like I'm doing here in these clips and hit for as much as you can. Just give this about 5 minutes of your day before you go into ranked, and it takes no time at all, and it'll definitely help you with your hip fire flicks and things like that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the next tip. Alrighty guys, so my next tip is going to be about tracking someone's strafing and movement. And like I said last time, if someone's movement's really good, sometimes you might have to hip fire here and there. But like I said earlier in the video, ideally you want to be ADSing with the Mastiff. So you can do that with a buddy or a friend. You can have them go Horizon or Pathfinder, someone with good movement, and just aim at them and just try to stay on target with your Mastiff with whatever sight you use. For sights real quick, I do want to talk about them just for a second. I really suggest you use the 1x digi, the digi threat, or no sight at all. I really don't suggest any of the closed reticle sight. The 1x HCOG, run that sight, the square one here. You're going to see me using it. I'm really not sure what it's called, but that one, the digi threat, which is the legendary sight, and then you can also run no sight at all. I either run no sight or the 1x. I very rarely use digi. It really depends if we have a bang on the team or not. If we do have a bangler on the team and she already has a digi, then I'll slap a digi on just so the smokes aren't messing up my game. But if we don't have a bang, then I won't run the digi, and I'll just run either the 1x or no sight at all on the Mastiff. And my next tip is actually going to help with this as well, so we're going to go ahead and get into that now. And that next tip is to buy, really, you only want to buy this if you have a decent computer, by the way. If you don't have a decent PC, you probably won't be able to run it, but like a Windows 10 laptop could probably run this decently well. And you're going to want to buy Apex Aim Trainer. It's really only $5 on Steam. It's a very good investment because it can help you with your tracking. You can get these moving targets that move back and forth at good speeds, and you can change the speed and things like that. You can input your sensitivity directly, and you can plug in your controller and play. So there's really no downsides to this thing. You can do it with mouse and keyboard or with controller. You can practice shooting targets from different distances, and you can choose your loadout and change what weapons you have, and also change your attachments. So there's really no downsides to this. It's only $5. It's way less expensive than those $20 skins you guys like to buy in the store that pop up all the time. And it's way less expensive than, spending $200 in the collection event trying to get an heirloom, right? It's much cheaper than those things. And some people feel like buying a skin or getting an heirloom is going to help them play better. And it might, just because you feel more confident. So your confidence will help you play better, not necessarily the skin or the heirloom itself. But this, which is $5, a lot cheaper than buying an heirloom or buying a skin, is a really good investment because it actually helps with your muscle memory and with your tracking. So it's way more important to get than buying a skin or an heirloom. And this will generally help you play better. So I highly suggest getting this. I use it myself every now and then. Before I hop on a stream or something, I play a couple rounds of this, then I get on stream. That way I'm not looking crusty on stream while I'm live. Yeah, I definitely suggest getting it. It's only $5. Apex Aim Trainer is what it's called again, and it's on Steam. Okay everyone, so for my next tip, we're going to be talking about when to use the Mastiff. I see so many people out there using their primary weapon, hitting someone for about 50 to 60 health, and then pulling out their Mastiff way too early before they can either enclose the distance or before they can even crack their shield. The Mastiff is a great gun for your close range encounters, so if you're not in close range yet, you don't want to be switching to it too early. You're better off just reloading your primary weapon and then, knocking them or continuing to shoot them for a little bit more, then getting closer and using your Mastiff, or getting them one shot and then you can use the Mastiff from a medium range. But don't switch to your Mastiff immediately if you haven't done enough damage or gotten close enough to use it. To counter that, if you're struggling with this, you can start off with your Mastiff, hit them once for about 60 to 70 health, or maybe even crack them, Then switch to your primary to finish them off and get a 1 clip with your primary. Instead of, pulling out your Mastiff too early, you can flip it around, and that way you can be more effective and just continue to play better with the Mastiff. My final tip to get better with the Mastiff is going to be to breathe. Make sure you guys relax, right? Take the time to line up your shots. I feel like the Mastiff is a very easy weapon to start panicking with and really just, completely whiff your shots with when it's like a 1v3 or 1v2 if you're low. But you guys have to realize that the Mastiff can put out a very large amount of damage. So if you just relax and stay calm while you're playing, you can very easily get out of a lot of bad situations because of how much damage you can put out very quickly compared to any other weapon. So make sure you guys stay calm, breathe. That way, when you aim in and try to line up your shot, you're hitting your shots and not completely whiffing. All right, for this next part of the video, we're going to be talking about the EVA 8. I know this is a Mastiff guide, but if you guys are really struggling with the Mastiff and you still are working on it on the sidelines while, you're playing ranked, like let's say you're trying to get better with the Mastiff, you watch this video, so you're implementing the strategies I tell you guys, and you're using Apex Aim Trainer on the side, and you're using the Mastiff in pubs, and you're practicing in the firing range. But when you play ranked, you don't want to use the Mastiff because you're still not that good at it yet. You don't want to throw your RP and things like that. While you're playing ranked, you can go ahead and run the EVA 8 because this gun is also really good. Definitely putting this gun in the A tier on my tier list just because it's very good, especially after the slight buff it got. I know they took out double tap, and with double tap you could bubble fight really well, but you really don't need to hop up for this gun. Remember guys, this gun is fully auto. You don't have to semi-auto it like a lot of people think. I used to think that when I started playing, but you don't have to. You can hold down the trigger with this, and with the purple bolt you can do a good amount of damage. I think it hits for about 63 a lot of the time, so you can down someone in a quick 4 shots, so you can get 2 people with 1 clip. I'm gonna play a clip of my friend just absolutely wiping a squad with this. You really don't need to ADS like he does in this clip, because if I show you right here, you don't get any benefits from ADSing with the EVA 8. So you want to stay un-ADS, that way you can maintain your strafe speed and things like that. Do not aim in with this gun. You see here I hit for 63 regardless whether I'm ADS'd or not. So stay un-ADS so you can keep your movement speed and be harder to hit while doing a bunch of damage, unless you're Gibby. If you're Gibby, you want to ADS so you can have your arm shield. But with any other legend, do not ADS. Stay faster. That way you're harder to hit and also putting out a good amount of damage. Run the EVA 8 until you can get better with the Mastiff and run the Mastiff. Overall, I do think the Mastiff is better, but the EVA 8 is a good alternative until you're good enough with the Mastiff to use it. Alrighty guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys actually learned something from this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see any other kind of videos, whether it be like a wingman guide or something like that, because I know the wingman is also very hard to use, and I actually do have a training routine with the wingman. So if you guys want me to make a video on that, I can. Just comment down below. Make sure you guys like the video if you did enjoy it, and if you did learn something, and if you did, tell me what you learned in the comments down below. That is indeed gonna wrap it up though, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the video here. I will see you guys in the next one. This is Racer signing out. Peace.